Now I'm going to explain the causes or the reasons for shifts in demand. To understand it, let me take you back at the law of demand, which says that people they buy more when prices are lower, and they buy less when prices are higher. Ceteris paribus. Ceteris paribus. So here, what is the meaning of this Latin term? It means all else remains same. There is no change in that. So what is actually included in ceteris paribus? In ceteris paribus, all the other factors other than price, are included in this ceteris paribus term, which actually also affect or determine demand, just like the income of the consumer, and then prices of the related goods. I will explain what is the meaning of the related goods. Okay, and then taste of the consumer is also one of the determinant of the demand, and then number of consumers in the market, and there is also another important factor, which is weather, and then further future expectations about the price of the good. So these are also factors which affect our demand, but we, while stating the demand law of demand, we keep all these factors as constant under the term of ceteris paribus, and only study the change in the quantity demanded by considering the change in prices. So we are only considering prices, the change in the effect of prices on quantity demanded, but income, prices of the related good, taste, number of consumers, weather, and future expectations, they are also equally important to determine the quantity demanded, but law of demand keeps them constant. So basically, if I write the function of the quantity demanded, then quantity demanded can be written, we can write the function quantity demanded is dependent on price. This is actually according to the law of demand, right? But actually the quantity demanded is the function of not only the price of the good itself, but it is also the function of consumers' income, price, taste, number of consumers, weather, future expectations. But we assume all of these constant. That's why we only keep prices in our determinant of the quantity demanded. Okay, so now come to the shifts. Whenever there is a change in price of the good, this is the price of the good itself, right? So if we are considering the cola market, then this is the price of the cola. Okay, so come back now. So when the price of the good itself is changing, we are actually moving on the same demand curve. We will move on the same demand curve whenever there is a change in the price of the good itself. But whenever there is a change in any of the determinant or factor which we assume constant, like income of the consumer, price of the related good, taste of the consumer if it has changed, or the number of consumers in the market if they increase or decrease, or if there is a change in the weather and also the future expectations, then the change or increase in the quantity demanded can be shown by shifting the whole demand curve. So basically, income, all these factors which we assume constant under the ceteris paribus term, if there is a change in in those factors, then it will cause a shift in the demand curve. But if the price of the good itself is changing, then it will not cause the shift in the demand curve. Okay, so I hope that you have understood all these explanation related with the shifts in the demand curve, and also how these factors they are actually affecting the demand curve. Now I am explained that how these factors are actually shifting or causing a shift in the demand curve. Let us now consider one by one the shifting factors of demand that actually cause a shift in the demand or a change in the demand. The first factor is the changes. When there is a change in the prices of the related goods, it will cause a shift in the demand, or it will cause a change in the demand. So what is actually the related goods? Related goods are can be divided as the complementary goods, or substitute goods. Okay, is it clear? So if there is a change in the complementary good, price of the complementary good or the price of the substitute good, then it will cause a shift in the demand curve. Okay, now what are the complementary goods? Complementary goods are the goods for which demand actually moves in the same direction, right? So two goods are said to be complementary if their demand moves together. For example, if there are two goods, good 1 and good 2, then these two goods are said to be complementary if their demands move in the same direction. Both are increasing or both are decreasing. Is it clear? For example, complementary goods are those which complete each other. Can you give me any example of that complementary good? Think about printer and paper. Without paper, we cannot use printer for printing purpose. Can we? No. So paper and printer, they can be considered as the complementary good. So if price of, let us say, if price of, let us say, printer, if it increases, right, then what will happen to the demand for printer? It will of course decreases according to the law of demand. What happened to the demand for the complement of the printer, which is paper? The demand for paper, it will also decrease because there are less number of buyers who are buying printer. That's why the paper demand, it will also decrease. So can you see that both demands are moving in the same direction? And further, there is no change in the price of the paper. The paper price remains same, but the demand for paper has decreased. Why? Because its complement, the demand for its complement, which is printer, has decreased. So whenever, and how we can show it on the graph, we will show on the graph in the paper market a downward shift. This is the initial price, then we will shift, there is a downward shift in the demand for paper. Why? Because of the decrease in the demand for printer. Is it clear? Okay, so let us now move to the next explanation of substitute goods. So here are some examples that can be considered as the examples of the complementary goods, like printer and paper, toothpaste and toothbrush, tennis courts and tennis balls. These are all complementary goods. Okay, the next type of related good is the substitute goods. Substitute goods are the goods which you can replace with each other. For example, coffee and tea. If coffee is become expensive, or if the price of a cup of coffee it will increase, then there are people who are going to substitute it with tea. So they will start to use more tea and they will decrease their demand for coffee. In the same way, there are also an example of pizza and burger that can be considered as the substitute goods. In the same way, internet, sending message by using email or by overnight delivery in form of letter, they all are substitutes. Okay, now these are the goods for which the demand moves in the opposite direction. For example, if there are two goods, good 1 and good 2, and D1 is the demand for good 1 and D2 is the demand for good 2, then if the demand of good 1 increasing, then the demand for good 2 is going to decrease. For example, coffee and tea. If demand for coffee decreases because of the increase in the price of the coffee, then this will cause an increase in the demand for tea. Why people they are decreasing their demand for coffee? Because the price of coffee has increased, right? So actually the changes are occurring in the coffee market, but those changes are causing a change in the tea market also, while the price of the tea, a cup of tea, remains same. So at the same price for tea, its demand will increase. If the demand for coffee, it is decreasing. So for substitute goods, always remember that for substitutes, the demand of both goods, it will move in the opposite direction, right? Okay, so this is the first factor, that because of the changes in the related good, the demand will shift either to the right or to the left, showing an increase or decrease in the demand curve. And what do we mean by related goods? It means complementary goods or substitute goods. The second factor that causes a shift in the demand curve is the income of the consumer, and on the basis of the income, we can divide goods as normal and inferior goods. And what are these normal and inferior goods? These are the actually a relative concept. It differ from person to person. Okay, a normal as a good is said to be normal if we increase its demand, because of the increase in our income, then the good is said to be normal. On the other hand, if with the if there is a decrease in demand because of the increase in income, then we can classify that good as the inferior good. We are demanding that good in a less quantity because of the income, because of the increase in our income. Okay, so and vice versa. Okay, so you can see here that for a normal good, both demand and income, they are actually moving in the same direction. Both are either increasing or decreasing. So we can say that there is a direct relation between the demand and the income. And on the other hand, for inferior good, you can see that demand and income, they are moving in the opposite direction. So we can classify this relation as the inverse relation, or we can say that with that y or demand are that income and demand, they are inversely related with each other. Yeah, okay. So all the goods are said to be normal goods, like organic goods. As our income as a consumer increases, we like to buy more organic goods because they are affordable for us. Why? Because their prices are higher than the normal goods. So we can say that organic goods are an example of the normal goods. On the other hand, inferior good can be all the non-organic goods. It is actually a relative concept, because for some people the good which is considered as normal, maybe for some people that good is inferior. For very rich people, the good which we consider for us is normal, maybe it is inferior for them. Okay, so it is just a relative concept. You need to just give some time to understand these concepts. Okay, so now we have finished with the second factor of a second shifting factor of the demand curve, and the next factor is that can cause a shift is the preferences of the consumers, or the changes in the taste or preferences of the consumer. For example, before the Jurassic Park, we can say there is no taste for the dinosaur toys, but after the Jurassic Park movie, there is a market for the dinosaur toys, because children they want dinosaur toys to play. In the same way, if some consumers, they have developed a taste for the Indian cuisines with high spices, then we can say that there is a demand from that consumer for Indian cuisine. So that can also cause a change in the demand curve for Indian cuisine. Okay, the next factor that causes a shift in the demand curve is the changes in the weather. For example, you can demand more cola during the hot weather, or during summer season. In the same way, the demand for umbrella increases during the rainy season. So we can say that because of the changes in weather, the demand curve can shift either upward or downward because of the changes in weather. The next factor that can cause a shift in the demand is the expectations about the future prices of the good. For example, if you are going to buy, let us suppose, a mobile, and then you came to know that there is a promotion which is going to be in the next month, then you will not purchase your mobile today, you will just wait for the next month. Why? Because you were expecting to buy at lower prices in the next month. It can be an example of the changes in the expectations about the future prices of the good. In the same way, if you expect that in the next month the prices of the mobile are going to be double, then what you will do, you will buy it today. So changes in the expectations about the future prices can also cause a shift in the demand. Then the last factor which I would like to discuss here is the number of buyers in the market. If there are more buyers in the market, of course it will cause more purchase or more demand. For example, if there are people who are migrated from one city to another city, then in that city the demand for different goods and services can be more now, because there are more people who are there to buy goods and services. Okay, and there is I think one more factor which I didn't mention here, but you can consider it. It is the festival time, right? For during the festival time, the demand can increase. For example, at Christmas, or during Ramadan, or Eid after Ramadan, we can expect that people, they will buy more, and it is just because of the festival time that cause an increase in the demand, without decrease in the prices of the good. So these are the factors, 6 or 7 factors that actually causing the demand curve to shift either downward or upward. Let us see now that how much you have understood the concept of the shifts in demand. Let us consider this example, that if there is an increase in birth rate, what happened to the demand curve? Increase in birth rate mean increase in population, and increase in population mean increase in the number of consumer, increase in the number of buyers. So increase in buyers mean increase in the demand. That will cause a shift in a rightward shift in the demand curve. Let us try to understand what happened to the demand of a substitute if the price of the other substitute good changes. Here I am considering the most simplest example of coffee and tea. We are considering them as substitute, means that you can replace coffee with tea. So now we are considering that if the prices of the coffee are changing or increasing, then what happened to the demand for tea. So let us first consider the coffee market. Here again we are measuring quantity demanded for coffee on x-axis and prices on the y-axis, and D shows the demand curve for the coffee at different prices. Okay, when if the initial price of the coffee is $0.50, then at this price the demand for coffee is equals to 1000 cups of coffee per day. Let us suppose that because of some reasons the price has increased from $0.50 to $1. Now the price is double, so coffee become expensive for some of the consumers, so they will decrease their demand, and the quantity demanded will decreases by from 1000 to 400 cups. So coffee become expensive for some of the consumers or buyers, so they will replace or substitute their consumption or demand for coffee with tea. That will shows an increase in the demand for tea in the tea market. Okay, so now let us consider the situation in the tea market. Here you can see that the price of 1 cup of tea, it is 0.5 or half dollar, and at this price you can see that there is a demand of 300 cups per day. And when there is a decrease in the demand for coffee. Why? Because of the increase in the price of the coffee. So people, they will increase their demand for tea. They will increase their demand for I should write it here. They will increase their demand for tea. Okay, so and the price, although the price of the tea remains same, but you can see that people now, they are demanding 900 cups of coffee, 900 cups of tea. So all those buyers who are not consuming or demanding coffee, now they are in the tea market, and they substitute their demand for coffee with tea. And why it is happening? Because of the increase in the price of the coffee. So you just have seen that how increase or change in the price of one substitute good affect the demand for the other substitute good. So prices are actually changing in one market. In the coffee market, the prices are increasing, but it has an effect on the tea market, on the demand for tea in the tea market. So you just have seen that because of the increase in the prices of coffee, there is an increase in the demand for tea. Okay, so if you analyze the increase in demand for a substitute group, then demand are actually moving in the opposite direction. For example, demand for coffee, because of the increase in the price decreases, but the demand for tea, it will increase. So if you you can also define, or you can also recognize the substitute goods if their demand moves in the opposite direction. Let us now consider the second type of related goods, which are complements. And now we are going to analyze that how changes in the price of one complementary good affect the demand of the other complementary goods. And you know that when we are concerning with the complementary goods, it means these are the goods which completes each other. You cannot use one good without using another good. For example, printer and printing paper can be considered as the complementary goods. In the same way, toothbrush and toothpaste are also another example of the complementary goods, and ink and pencil or paper, writing paper, is also another example of the complementary goods. There are many other examples we have already discussed, I think, in one of the previous lessons. Okay, at the moment let us consider the printers and the printing paper example. So we are going to see that what happened in the printing paper market when the price of the printer, it is increasing. So what we are going to do, we are going to see the effect of the change in the prices of the printer over the change in the demand for paper, right? printing paper. So let us first consider the printer market. Here you can see that when the price of the printer it is $25. Then according to the demand curve of the printer, people they are demanding, the market demand is equals to 100 printer per day. And when the price increases become double, then you can see that the quantity demanded will reduce from 100 printers to only 40 printers. So there is a decrease of 60 quantity demanded of printers, which is equals to 60 printers when the price is actually double. Okay, now consider the second market of printing paper, which is the complementary good for printer. Okay, so the price of one bundle of let us suppose A4 paper, it is $10, and we were initially, and at this price when there are no changes in the printer markets, then the according to the initial demand curve, people they are actually demanding how much? 2000 bundles per day. And now what happened? At the same price, the demand has decreased from 2000 to 1000 bundles of paper, and it is just because of the decrease in the printers in the printer market. That decrease in the paper is because of the decrease in the demand for printers. So we can say that there is a decrease in the demand for printer, and that decrease in demand for printer will affect the demand for its complementary good, which is the printing paper. It will also decrease. It will also cause a decrease in the printing paper. So you just have seen from this example that how price of printer actually cause a change in the demand for its complement, which is the printing paper. I hope that you have understood this example, understood this relation between the changes in the prices of the complementary goods and their effect on the demand of the complementary goods. Okay, and that's all for this slide. Let us move to the next slide. The next example is related with the changes in income, and you know that income is also one of the shifting factors in the demand curve. And on the basis of income, if you remember that we can divide goods into normal goods and inferior goods. Normal and inferior. And what are the normal goods? Normal goods are the goods demand for these goods increases because of the increase in income, and for inferior, just the opposite case, that we demand less with the increase in income. So whenever we increase, a good is said to be a normal good when we increase the demand for that good, and a good is said to be inferior when we decrease the demand for that good with the increase in our income. So here let us consider a situation that government has increased in the wage rates of the government servants. And now we are so it means that government servants, they are their income has increased, and now we are going to see that increase in their income on the effect of their increase in their income on the demand for some high quality goods, or demand on the organic food items, just like the organic cereal. You know that organic cereals, organic food prices are higher than the non-organic prices. So those who are actually health conscious, they always like to buy to buy organic food. So all those buyers who actually has a rise in their income, they would like to buy organic items like organic cereals. So let us consider that organic cereal market, and here what will happen because of the increase in income. People, they will started to buy, they will demand more organic cereal. And why they are demanding more? Because of the increase in income and not because of the decrease in the price of the organic cereal. That's why we will show that increase in the organic cereal by shifting the whole demand curve to the right. So the demand curve will shift from D to D prime in the organic cereal market. So we can say that organic cereal can be categorized as the normal good. Why? Because we have increased the demand for organic cereal because of the increase in our income. On the other hand, what about the non-organic cereals? We are decreasing their demand because of our increase in income. So non-organic cereals are classified here as the inferior good. I hope that you have understood these through these examples, that how prices of how the prices of related goods, and how the change in the income of a consumer actually cause a change in the demand without change in the prices, and how these changes are actually cause a shift in their demand curve. So let us summarize what we have learned, or we have discussed in this video. We have discussed the shifting factors of demand curve, which includes prices of the related goods, income of the consumer, taste of the consumer, and then weather plus the number of consumers and the future expectations about the prices. And then we also have discussed prices of the related goods and the changes in the income to just show how they affect the demand curve to shift either rightward or leftward, by considering some examples from the real life. If you like this video, then thumbs up, and also subscribe to my channel. And if you further wants to see more videos related with this topic, you are welcome to visit my channel, Economics for All Learners.